was, in fact, the pacemaker oil field for Embry, and he led into the straight in 1976. There are 4 of them to go now, including El Gran Senor, March Song, who's going in next, hopefully with his hood. March Song due into stall number 3. Then there'll be Inflation Beta, Rainbow Quest, and El Gran Senor himself. That's Inflation Beta. El Gran Senor. And finally, it'll be Rainbow Quest. And all 8 installed for the 1984 Joe McGrath Irish Sweeps Derby, under orders and away. And Daha on the inside is one of the first to show, but Tellius taking it up from him now. Tellius going on from Long Pond and Daha and Rainbow Quest. Then comes March Song, then El Gran Senor, then Inflation Beta, and Nino Valador is the back marker. So Tellius taking him along, as his half-brother did back in 1980, from Long Pond on his outside. Then comes Rainbow Quest, who's taken quite a strong hold. Daha for France is 4th. Then comes El Gran Senor, March Song, Inflation Beta, and finally Nino Valador. And still, Jeff Baxter, his first ride in the Irish Sweeps Derby, leading on Tellius from Long Pond. Walter Swinburne, who's never been beaten. His only other ride was Sharif Dancer. In third is Rainbow Quest and Steve Cawthon. Then comes Daha for France, and then El Gran Senor. Then quite a gap to March Song, followed by Inflation Beta and Nino Valador, finding this pace altogether too hot. 7 furlongs to run now at the Curragh, and it's still Tellius in the lead from Long Pond and Rainbow Quest and Daha and El Gran Senor in 5th. Then March Song, Inflation Beta and Nino Valador racing towards the 5 furlong marker now. Still Tellius from Long Pond. These 2 for England, from Rainbow Quest for England too. Then Daha for France in 4th. Then El Gran Senor with quite a little bit to do at the moment, and Pat Eder is sitting very confidently on him, though behind him comes March Song, Inflation Beta, and then Nino Valador. And it's still Tellius from Long Pond, but little between the 2. Then comes Rainbow Quest, Daha, and El Gran Senor. It's been virtually the same order throughout as they pass the half-mile pole and make towards the home stretch now. Tellius on the inside of Long Pond, Rainbow Quest going well, then Daha, then tucked in behind them El Gran Senor. Under 3 furlongs to run in the Sweeps Derby. Tellius from Long Pond, Rainbow Quest, Daha, then comes El Gran Senor. And Rainbow Quest is going on now at the 2 furlong marker. Steve has gone for home, but El Gran Senor is breathing down his neck. It's Rainbow Quest from El Gran Senor, then comes Tellius. Coming to the furlong pole, Rainbow Quest from El Gran Senor being kicked on now by Pat Edwards. El Gran Senor from Rainbow Quest as they race up towards the line. El Gran Senor has certainly superiority. He wins it in tremendous style. Rainbow Quest is second, Daha is third. 4 was March Song. 5, 6, 7, and 8 were Inflation Beta, Tellius, Long Pond, and Nino Valador. And so the result of the 1984 Joe McGrath Irish Sweeps Derby. First, number 2, El Gran Senor, owned by Robert Sangster, trained by Vincent O'Brien, and ridden by Pat Edery. Second was number 7, Rainbow Quest, owned by Caleb Abdallah, trained by Jeremy Tree, and ridden by Steve Cawthon. And third was number 1, Daha, owned by Bruce McNall, trained by Maurice Zilber, and ridden by Alain Leclerc. Fourth was number 5, March Song. So as they rounded the home turn, it was Tellius still towards the left, with Long Pond pressing him, and Rainbow Quest sitting in behind. Just in behind a Rainbow Quest, Pat Edery has been making steady progress on El Gran Senor. Daha is towards the right of the picture, but it's Rainbow Quest who takes it up as the 2 furlong pole from the cruising El Gran Senor, with Daha, the French challenger, the sheepskin nose band towards the right. Behind them, the fading Tellius, and then March Song making progress. But as Steve goes for his whip on Rainbow Quest, El Gran Senor, with his tremendous class, comes there. Pat just shakes him up. He stretches out and all the way to the line now. He's doing nothing but lengthen his stride and go to the line to win this Sweeps Derby in tremendous style. To redeem his reputation most emphatically, El Gran Senor, the winner from Rainbow Quest, a gallant but unavailing nearest challenger to him, and then a big gap to the third, the French hope, Daha. So Pat Edery maintains his remarkable sequence in this great Curragh Classic. This was his 6th ride. He's never been out of the frame. He won it at his first attempt in 1975. He's been 3rd, 4th, 4th, 2nd, and now the winner once again. And here this charming horse returns to the winner's circle, having redeemed himself so emphatically. Just see how readily he's cruising at the 3-furlong pole behind this quartet. Steve getting a lovely run between horses there. Daha still showing with a little squeak on a lacquer towards the outside, until you look at El Gran Senor and Pat Edery. And once this son of Northern Dancer, out of Sex Appeal, whose 8th foal he is by Buck Passer, unleashes that coiled spring, so he lengthens his beautiful stride, bounces off this firm ground to go clear and re-establish himself. Unbeaten in 4 races as a 2-year-old, unbeaten in his 2 races including the Guineas and his run up to the Derby when he was beaten a short head by the David O'Brien trained Secreto. And now with everything before him and Vincent O'Brien's bold policy